So we're going to do a kind of a debate style one, obviously between yourselves, the two of you. I'll do my best to moderate as well as I can. There will be time limits on the certain questions we go through or certain points. The structure may change throughout, but we'll try and keep it as we've discussed it. So I'll say the quote or the question or the law, as we're going to go through the 48 laws of power, some of them. I will make sure it's fair with times for both of you. So you've both got enough time to go through your points, anything. And at the end of each question, I'll make sure we have enough time for you both to go through it together. If there's anything you want to counter, any questions you want for the other person. And I think that's pretty much it. I think we're pretty much ready to go now. Unless you both have anything you want to say beforehand, or if you're both good.
I'm good, mate. Thanks for having me again, bro.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Yeah, thanks for having me again.
It's my pleasure. So we're going to start off with the 48 laws of power. But in particular, we're going to start off with law 34. Be royal in your own fashion. Act like a king to be created. And the reason I thought of this one is I've seen a really good point. I've seen a really good, clip. And it made me think of it. And you might relate to this as well. You might find it quite a good one. Because I've told Steph about it as well. But a lion is not king of the jungle for being the strongest, the quickest, or the smartest.
Okay.
But because of their mindset. The lion is the king of the jungle because that's what he believes. And it kind of links in with that law 34. So the king respects himself. They act confident of their powers. That lion knows it's the king. It doesn't need to be the strongest or the quickest or the smartest. That lion knows it's king because of its self-belief. It has a high worth. It doesn't set itself lower than that. And the actions of that lion, the thought process of that lion is what makes it a king. It doesn't settle for anything less. And because another point I thought was quite interesting as well, with being a king, obviously you got to start off, maybe you start off at the bottom first, but no matter what, you've got to be the one that roots for you when no one else does. And that's with anything in life. If you don't root for yourself, you don't support yourself, no one else is going to support you either. Or why should they? Because if you don't believe in yourself or have that confidence, it's not going to settle with anyone else. So I'll start off with Steph. If you want to start off with your points. I thought ladies first, I'll be considerate of that. So we'll go, I'll give you time to speak, give a few minutes for you, unless you want to do less. But I'll give you time to speak first. And Arnold, you go next. And at the end, we'll let you both discuss any points you have with each other. So up to you, Steph. Go on.
For me personally, I agree with it very much. I've applied that many times in my life. Part of it is like, as you said, with the lion, but I think as a human, we have to act with dignity and respect, carry yourself, wear the right clothes with style and everything. So even though you're, let's say, for me, work-wise, for example, if you want to go up the ladder, at least speak like the person, train yourself within it. Outside image is really, really important as well. So whatever you give out, respect others, the respect comes back. And I think also same as like approach the people as if you're your own boss. So if you speak the way you speak, the language itself, articulate yourself in certain ways, and people will just see you like that. They won't even know you in the, let's say, I don't know, if you're an admin worker or if you just anywhere low, really, they won't be able to tell that. I think, in my opinion. I think that's my time.
If there's any more you want to say?
I think me personally, I guess, I think that's about it, really, in a nutshell. But acting like king and stuff like that, it also gives you power, influence. Who doesn't want that?
That's a good point. Arnold, what are your thoughts on the law?
It's actually one of my favorites from the 48 laws of power. I know in our last conversation, I kept on saying that, like, oh, this is my favorite law, this is my favorite law. And that's pretty much with all the laws because I just love the book so much.
It's a great book.
No, I agree with the law because people treat you on how you present yourself, basically. And I think it ties into like first impressions. If you're confident, you believe yourself, like a king acts like a king. And I like the lion analogy because if you look at it like a gazelle, it's like the opposite of a lion, like just the way they behave. So now I definitely agree with the law. And I don't know, Steph, I actually want you to say what you think about it when we speak about it, expand on it. Do you think it ties into the whole like fake it till you make it?
No. Face it till you make it.
Not fake it till you make it.
Yeah, even with faking it, what are you going to fake? I don't think so. It gives you confidence as well. What are you faking to make it?
Wait, but it's act like a king. So the word act, it's almost as if like you're putting on an act. So even if you may not necessarily believe in yourself, but it's telling you to kind of like, you
Then you're
have
not a
to
king.
act.
If you don't believe in yourself, then you're not a king. You've already done it wrong.
Wait, but if
You won't be able to be a king if you don't believe in it, even yourself. Then you're doing everything wrong. People can sense that.
yeah, I mean, they can sense it, but okay, let's say if I was lacking in confidence, right? And if I then act confident, or at least like put myself like out there with the expectation that if I behave this way, or if I, let's say, dress like smarter, because I've noticed for myself when I wear like smart clothes, like for example, when I went to my cousin's wedding, it gives you this weird sense of confidence. And the reason why I was saying act, because you can do that. You can act like a king.
You can act.
Because I think that's the key word in the law that I like as well. Because it doesn't necessarily teach you to be like, oh, just be confident. Because everyone says be confident, but it says act like a king to be treated like a king. What do you think about that?
It kind of says within it, how are you going to act like it? What are your actions?
What the practical bit.
Exactly. So, and how are you using them? Are you using them the right way? Are you thinking the right way? That applies to yourself, that you feel confident and comfortable within it. But to be the king itself, you can fake it all you can want, but you won't make it there if you're just gonna fake it and act like it. You were supposed to apply it as well.
Yeah, no, I agree with the application.
Obviously, with the clothes, for example, like yes, you feel some sort of confident.
Yeah.
But how are you applying that confidence? And obviously, to be honest, fashion, I guess, is not one of the greatest example, but you can use it to be like it. But once the clothes are off, are you going to feel some type of way again? Or because confidence more like wear whatever you want and then you would be like it. But if the king, yeah, if he has any sort of, he's not sure about anything, but he's just faking it, everyone can be like, okay, well, he doesn't know what he's doing. He's just all making it all up. I don't think we want him anymore.
Yeah, but a king already has like inherent power. Like he is a king. Everyone already acknowledged him as a king. But if you are just like yourself and you don't feel like a king, you don't necessarily have anything that will make you think you're a king. Using that law, you can then act like one. And then people will then shift their perspective on you. And then by getting that feedback from other people, and I think that's why the law works. Because if you do that and you get the positive feedback, people are saying, oh, like you seem more confident. And then that kind of gives you that, you can actually get to the point where you're no longer acting, but you're actually like a king, like the lion.
No, of course. That's what I'm saying. Like agreeing with it. That's not, for me personally, I don't think it's like fake it till you make it there, you know? Like acting and faking it is sort of different in my opinion. Like act like it, what you have, and go within it. Like go wherever you want with it, but don't fake all along. Then you lose your own identity.
Okay.
I'll cut you off there. That might run on a bit too long. But for me, it's I like what both you said. I think the main point for me about that law is you got to have self-respect. You got to have a self-belief. You got to have that belief that you are a king, that mindset. It doesn't matter what you are or what you think you might be, like before, your job, your life, what's going on there. You need to have just that self-confidence. Respect yourself as well for what you are and who you are. Rooting for yourself, knowing you're going to get there. Have that high worth, high sense of self. And you can, if you want to say fake it till you make it, but not faking it, just because you already have that mindset that you are a king. So there's no faking about it for me personally. If you think you're a king, you are a king in your own way. But anyway, we'll cut on to the next one now. So we're going to go away from the laws at the moment, and we're going to get on to one of the questions I wanted to ask both of you, because I think it's a good question as well. I find it interesting myself, and it's is having a big ego, or is having an ego, a negative trait or a positive trait? And for me, I think it's clear that we distinguish between ego and confidence, because a lot of people think they're one and the same. But an ego sort of seems to be more of external validation that you need. A sense of self-importance and a need for validation or superiority over others, where you're seeking attention, you're striving for dominance in conversations or other situations, but you're not maybe believing it in yourself, the confidence. You need that confidence from other people. Whereas if you are a confident person, you're already self-assured, you already have belief in your abilities, you don't need other people to tell you what you're good at and what you might be good at. You already have a genuine sense of self-worth. And I guess it's just not boasting about it as well. Like, it's when someone's cocky in a game of basketball, like football or something like that, and they're saying, oh, I'm better than you. They need to prove that they're better than them, not that they're actually just good at themselves. They need to boast about it. They don't know deep down inside that they already are good. They need to have that external validation. Whereas if you're confident, you already know deep down, you already have that, you're already humble, I guess, in a way as well. So you don't need to externally just get other people's approval in a way. So with this one, I'll give it to Arnold first. So what are your thoughts? Is having an ego or a big ego a positive or negative trait to have?
Okay, so could you reiterate the question? Because the question is having an ego a good thing or a bad thing, or is having a big ego? Because I think those are two different questions.
Okay, maybe a little bit ego can be good. I guess in the competition-wise, it can be good. But is having a big ego, just having a big ego, is that a good or bad thing?
So I'm a little bit torn with this one because I actually looked up ego because I didn't know the difference. You know what you said about there's a difference between ego and what was the other point? And confidence, right? And I think it's definitely easy to kind of confuse the two. But in the simplest term, what I found, ego is basically your sense of self. So I think it's good. And having a big ego will ultimately have its like detriment, or some negative aspects to it. But I think having an ego is good because it is like your sense of self. As long as you don't, then let's say or like you then use your power to kind of like overpower people just on the sense of ego, or you become a victim, like play victim just because your ego is bruised, things like that. But I think having a big ego is good. I'll pass it on to Steph, and I do have an example of someone with a big ego. I'm a big fan of him.
You can give your example first if you want.
Yeah.
Kanye West. Kanye West is like the
humble.
I think he might start leaning towards like egomaniac. But I use him as an example of like what having a big ego can make you achieve.
I think it's pretty much double-edged sword. Like I know with the confidence and stuff, but it's like it can drive ambition. That's the main one thing. And confidence, yes, it's external validation from others and not really internal thing. The other thing is like a big ego, arrogance, and you kind of like alienate on others as well. But I think that is, again, like a silver lining a bit. Like if there are people who know that they're good at it and they're bragging about it as well. They know they know they're good, but they still need the external validation.
Okay.
But at the same time, if they already know it, what is it? Or why do they have to be? It's just because they want to demean other people and wanting to be on top and wanting to shut other people out, which is sort of a big ego. Maybe, what's the word called? Like someone is, I guess, not really confident in themselves, which is true, but at the same time, I don't know. I don't like people with big egos. But having ego is good, in my opinion. But there is this fine line.
Okay. What about having a big ego?
I think you'll just die alone.
So you don't think having a big ego is good?
I don't think having a big ego is good at all. It depends how you use it. If, let's say, competition-wise, I think big ego definitely comes out, but have to be careful. If you literally like having a big mouth, telling all of that stuff, and then you lose in the end, that's on you. Like, that's the weird outcome of it. Would you say you've got big ego?
What, me? No, I wish I had a bigger ego.
You can make it bigger though.
Huh? Of course you can, but I mean, honestly, it also comes with like accomplishments and stuff like that, and also because those things, like, let's say if some of the people with like the biggest ego, they'll have an ego of a specific something that they're really good at, or for example, like that's why I like Kanye West, because his one is music, and you know he compares himself to like. Actually, he's on a new path now. He's comparing himself to Jesus now. Like you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's like your ego has to be on a different level.
Big ego.
Well, that's the thing though. Like, would you say also people with big ego have a lack of empathy of others?
Bear in mind, with an ego, you normally will prioritize your self needs above anyone else's.
Yeah.
You won't care what other people want, per se. You're more focused on what you want, what you get. It's why most people who have big ego can't work in a team. They're probably better off working by themselves because they don't want to rely on them other people or watch them succeed. You could say in a way.
Okay, but do you think you need a big ego in order to accomplish great things? Because, okay, let's say if you had to pick Steph, present this to you. If you had to pick between the two, obviously these are gonna be like two extremes, right? Having a really big ego or having no ego.
I think me knowing how I am in competitive situations, I probably have a quite big ego.
Yeah.
But that's the thing that I'm quiet about it though. I'm going to be honest with it. I've got very big ego when it comes to certain things. When I know I'm 100% right. I'm really good at this. Why are these people not listening to me on it? My big ego does come out. I do prove people wrong, which I have a bit of a satisfaction on that.
Yeah.
But it depends how you use your big ego. It's really important so you don't alienate others. I still care about other people and I'll still put them above me, but at the same time, to prove myself to others, I'll put myself first. But I would not like it if people hated me for it. So it's not a really good trait at all. It's not very attractive.
Okay. But you still choose it over...
Yeah, with having no ego, I don't know. I guess people out there, they would go far, but I like to stand up for my achievements.
Yeah. I mean, you can still be confident without having an ego.
Yeah, of course, that's totally two different things as we established.
Yes, but you don't need... You could say you don't have an ego, but still be confident in yourself.
Yeah, I would still want to have some ego because it boosts me up.
But that ego will come from external people, external validation from other people.
Exactly.
Which is
not something one, it just comes with it, whatever comes out from me.
But confidence can be the same. You can still get that external validation, but don't need it to boost yourself in a way.
Yeah.
You still can do things you do. It's like saying, so I guess I could say with this, for example, the podcast, even if people did say I did amazing or did great stuff, I still wouldn't need that to do what I'm doing now. So I know that I'm confident in myself that I can keep this going. I won't need other people's approval or support. Well, as much as I appreciate it and I'm grateful for it, I still believe I can do this because I believe in myself, and I'm a number one fan, I guess, as well. That's why I don't. Obviously, yeah, I guess it can be difficult sometimes having that ego, especially when competition comes out. But it's not something I need or want to have.
So the thing is, yeah, I like the idea of having no ego because that seems to lean towards like enlightenment.
I think you're more content when you have no ego.
100%, because you're enlightened basically. Like you're completely like detached, and like you said, you can have no ego and still be like super confident. You completely believe in yourself. But I think the world we live in right now, everything is rewarded by having a big ego. So I still think it's good. Although maybe if the world rewarded having no ego, yeah. But I'm leaning towards like, yeah, having a big ego is good.
Okay, we'll go on to our next point now, which I think is quite a big one as well. Not all about ego, this one, but does life require a purpose? I was going to say before, and goals that you need in life, but I think I'll stick with purpose as well, because I think goals can come under that. Now, for me, without a goal or without a purpose in life, you're going to feel empty inside. You're going to go day by day not knowing what you're doing or not what you want. And there's a good quote by Carl Jung, who you all know, who says, the world will ask you who you are, and if you don't know, the world will tell you.
I like that.
So if you don't know what you're doing in life and what you want in life, it's going to be picked out for you. And I've heard different things, like Jordan Peterson, when I heard him talk about purpose, and he said the ultimate purpose in life is to try and make peace, which I think is a good one as well. I've heard Alan Watts say life is a journey, which means life is a dance, which basically means you're not focusing on the end goal. You're not focusing on finishing that dance. You're not focusing on that. You're focusing on just being in the dance itself, enjoying where you are in the present moment, and just enjoying the journey that you're on. But I think a purpose in life will help define what to focus your time and energy on. That way, if you're just looking around for anything or doing anything you want, you're just wasting part of your life, because you never know when your next day is when your time's up. And if you're just spending your time focused on nothing, I guess, just spending it doing meaningless things, is that really going to be a fulfilling life? So I think with a purpose, finding that, and again, we all have our own purpose in life. Every single person will probably have a different purpose. But I guess part of life is the pursuit of finding what that purpose is for you. And just enjoying it along the way, I guess, as well. Finding what that purpose is. For me at the moment, it's the podcast here now. This is my purpose, I think. Trying to spread positive information out there, health, and many other things. But I wouldn't say it's a goal. For me before, it used to be a goal. But then once you've reached that goal, people stop. It's like when you get gym, you want to get to 90 kg. But then once you've reached that goal, then you're thinking, what's next? And you sort of lose that motivation or discipline because you've reached that goal. So I think you need a purpose more than you need goals. Obviously, you have goals along the way to your purpose or with your purpose. But for me, you do need to have some sort of purpose in life. Otherwise, you're just going to spend each and every day confused and feeling like life is a bit pointless because you're not going after something. You're not wanting something. So I went with you last time. So I go Steph with this one. So does life require a purpose?
I think with the question itself of purpose and goal, if you have a goal, well, it's almost like how you explained it already. While you're trying to achieve the goal, you go through experiences and your goal always changes, but you find your own purpose. So I think life itself, purpose, it changes consistently. You think, oh, my purpose is to survive. And then you do all those things. That could be your end goal as well. Or your purpose could be any sort of... But yeah, I probably would agree. It needs a purpose. It requires a purpose. Otherwise, you don't know what you're living for.
Okay. What about purpose? Excuse me. No, I think I agree with you, Sam, on that, and you as well, Steph. I think life, you do need a purpose, like, because it gives you something to strive towards. Yeah. Like without a purpose, it's almost as if like you don't necessarily have like motivation to aim towards anything. You just sort of like living, which I think the monks do that, but I think even they have a purpose, which is to reach enlightenment. So I think you definitely need a purpose. But there are certain aspects about the whole idea of purpose that I don't like.
What?
I feel like nowadays, okay, so in comparison to animals, right? I think animals have a purpose. They don't have goals. I think this is where we're different to animals, because that's why I like goals. Because goals, obviously, that's where you set targets to aim towards your purpose. But I think like all of us, like the hierarchy of needs, our purpose is just to survive: food, water, shelter. Once you achieve those things, I think that's where we become a bit like, what now? And then if you don't go beyond that, once you've achieved all these things, that's when it gets a bit complicated. And I think there's a lot of predatory like thing now. It's like, oh, what is your purpose? It's like, I need to find what I need to do in life. And it just puts so much pressure on like people. And even me, when I initially got involved in self-development, and that becomes like a thing. You need to find out what your purpose is. What if you don't know? And
that's the thing, isn't it? It's okay.
And I guess that's part of life as well, just finding that out
yeah.
along the way.
Okay, so you think your purpose could be maybe your life purpose is to find out what your purpose is. Can that be a goal?
I guess a good person would be maybe a person a person that came to mind is J.K. Rowling. She didn't discover way until her 50s or later on maybe that she would be writing the Harry Potter books. because she spent all her life beforehand just doing what she was doing. Then suddenly came to realise that was what she was meant to do. So it's not going to be like next day you're going to figure out what it is, but you've just got to maybe just keep finding just work out along the way what your purpose is going to be. And you may have different purposes in life at that point in time. Like some people feel, like you say, reproduction. Some people may feel that I need to have kids, I need to have a family.
Yeah, I know so many people like that. Yeah.
Once you've had the kids, then some people's lives just stop. Like you can still have a life whilst you have a kid and family. Like nothing doesn't have to stop. You don't have to put the brakes on it. You can keep continuing with that. Obviously, you've got other responsibilities around you, but that still doesn't stop you from going after what you may want in life.
No, I like that example because, like you said, maybe your purpose is to have children, right? But once you have the children, maybe your next purpose would be like, I need to get my kids into a good education. And after that, maybe I need to raise them a certain way. And that becomes your new purpose. So your purpose can be added on. The only example I was just given is just this idea of like, you need to figure out what you're doing. Let's say if you're just working a 9 to 5 and you just don't know, you're made to seem like a failure because it's just like, oh, what is your purpose? What is your purpose? And you're supposed to kind of like, let's say, Steph, if I was to ask you, you don't have to say it, by the way. I was like, yo, Steph, what's your purpose? You know what I mean? Like, put you on the spot. You have to come up with this crazy ideas, like, you know?
Yeah.
I think that's why it's kind of better or best to have a goal. It's like one of those things, it's like having a goal without a plan is just a wish.
Yeah.
So it's like, what's the plan? That could be literally you figuring it out, what your purpose is. Along the way, you literally just figure it all out. There's no point. It's important to have a purpose, but it could be just you thinking about your goal and making your way there. And goals are milestones. So it's not just one big goal.
Wait, but if your purpose is just thinking about your goals, you're not really moving.
Well, not just thinking, obviously, like
your head is in the class. Your head is in the class. Just think.
No, figure of speech, like make a plan and just go along the way.
Wait, no, basically, can I interpret what you said?
Yeah.
You said your purpose can be thinking about your purpose. So what's your purpose? My purpose is thinking about my purpose.
No.
I know I'm taking a bit
You know
extreme.
what you mean. I mean. Yeah. So it's a hard one. I think sometimes I feel like we're both the same thing.
Yeah. What do you think, Sam, about this? The idea that I think like the whole self-development thing do kind of prey on people trying to find their purpose.
A good quote I like from Alan Watts is, if you don't know what you want in life, there's 2 reasons. 1, you already have it. Or 2, you don't know yourself. And some people don't know themselves. So you've got to have self-consciousness, I think, as well. Actually understand yourself, work on yourself, listen to yourself, your needs, your wants, maybe the habits you have. And then you can slowly start to work through them and then start figuring out, like it's a good way to know what you want is to work in reverse and figure out what you don't want, what the things you don't want your life to be like.
I like
and then
that
you
idea.
can narrow it down and then you can see what you're left with and you go, okay, I can see this here. Now how am I going to get it? I guess it comes back to stoicism as well. Focusing on what you can control. And then, okay, what actions can you take to work towards your goal or your purpose in life? But I do think goals are good. So they keep you disciplined as well, keep you motivated. But that's not your overall purpose as well. Your overall purpose could be just continuing to work on yourself and bettering yourself each and every day. And along that as well, you're going to have goals, like you say, working out in the gym, maybe writing a book, doing the podcast, getting a better job. But like some people think their purpose could be, or a goal could be, I just want to be successful. I just want all this money in life. I just want so much money. But by doing something they don't even enjoy doing, like it's better to have, like Alan Watts says, it's better to have a short life filled with what you love doing than a long life spent in a miserable way.
Okay, so I'm guessing maybe we're not arguing whether obviously the main question is if it's a purpose is good. Okay, let's say if your purpose is...
If life requires one.
It requires one. Yeah, definitely does. But what if your purpose in life is to make money?
How much is enough?
I mean, you probably can't put a figure on it, but do you think that would be
Then you could then say, was that a happy life? Was that a life well spent? You could be miserable that entire life. And then you look back at some old people, when you look at them and see them being interviewed, and they wish they were happy. They wish they did something that was happy for them. Like if you spend so much time focusing on what you want, working towards that, it could be anything. You could be a writer, you could be an artist or anything like that. If you just completely engage in what you're doing and you can become the master of your craft at that, then I think everything else will just fall into place around you, including the money. Because if you're just completely focused on that and being successful in that, it will happen for you. But if you want money and that's all you're focused on, then obviously people can go ahead and do that. But then you just got to ask them, they've just got to ask themselves, is that a life well spent? If you're completely, because you see people working 12-hour shifts, 15-hour shifts, 16-hour shifts, and they have family because they want to support them.
That's their purpose.
And I get that. Does that mean spending all that time away from your family, never seeing them as well?
Someone's got to feed them.
Okay, but still though, like, can they argue saying, you're asking them, let's say if that person that's doing, I don't know, 60 hours a week and their main goal is just to make sure their family is fed. If you ask them, what's your purpose? What if they just told you, yeah, my purpose is just to feed my family?
Yeah.
So I think ultimately the question is definitely the yes, life. You need a purpose. Otherwise, even if your purpose is just for yourself, like to reach whatever, I don't know, for yourself without taking, because you might neglect like other people that you're supposed to be taking care of. But what if your purpose is, I need to find myself, I need to go traveling, I need to, do this. So but I think you definitely need a purpose. Otherwise you won't move.
No.
Okay, I think we've answered that one. I'll go on to the next.
By the way, Steph, I don't always have to have the last word. You can...
No, it's fine. It's okay. It's fine. I've been thinking, but I was like, oh, okay. Taking words out of my mouth, so it's okay.
Is there anything you want to say on this one before?
I think it's been all said. But definitely, it depends individually. If someone wants money, go for it. If that's your purpose, go for it. Happiness, that's on them. They get to choose if they really want to be happy with it. If that makes them happy, who are we to tell? So, yeah.
Okay. We'll go on to this next one, which I quite like this question because I think it's quite a funny one as well. I guess we're more understanding of this as well, considering our age. But are people in this current generation less or more sensitive than people from past generations, and why? Now I'm going to go straight up and just say yes, 100%. People in this generation are way more sensitive than the older generation. Like if you look at some of the TV programs today, just for example, that get cancelled because they're too sensitive. Like I think they even tried to cancel Friends, was it, or something?
Yeah.
Like
Big Bang.
Like Big Bang Theory, like programs like that. Like if you, for people that don't know, there's a show called In-Betweeners that was created about 10, 15, 20 years ago now, probably 15 years ago. And if that came out today, the first episode, cancelled straight away because people are just so sensitive these days. You could say you could say one little joke to them and they'll immediately just try and cancel you straight away. But if you're older generation, you say something like, you could joke with them, say whatever you want with them. Half the time they'll probably just laugh and just say, or crack another joke with you. And the things that they've gone through as well, like you think of the actual wars as well, World War I or World War II, like the stuff that they've gone through on top of that as well. Like they're just so much tougher, I guess, as well. Their mindset's just a lot stronger. They're not fragile. Like the younger generation is just soft. Like just in today's age, today's society, it's just incredible how we've gone backwards in a way. Like you'd think we'd be a bit more, I don't know, stronger, have a stronger mindset, be a bit more disciplined, learn from our elders, but we just seem to be learning nothing from them. Just seem to be just completely going backwards in a way, just the complete opposite of what we were back then. I think I went first, you then,
Steph
so I'll go
went
Steph
first, yeah.
and see your opinion on this.
Well, I think you went first last time, huh?
Did you go first on this one? I think this is the
Life
fourth
on
one I've
Purpose,
asked.
yeah.
So 1, 2.
I went first.
Yes, it's Arnold. We'll go with you.
It's my turn.
Yeah. So just what's this current generation like? Are they less or more sensitive than the past generations?
I think the current generation is not even sensitive. They're super sensitive. it's super sensitive. It's really bad actually. Maybe because we're like a bit older. Like I'm like 30, and obviously like now I'm like part of the older generation now. And you look back and you look at the kids that are growing up now. Let's say the 2000 babies. They're all super sensitive.
Yeah.
I remember even like us in school, some of the stuff that used to happen. Right now, if they were to happen, like suspensions. Even simple things like I don't know how this is. I'll say the word anyway, but not the F word because I don't want you to get cancelled.
No, you can say whatever. It won't be cancelled.
Okay, so saying the word faggot, right? It's not faggot. That one, obviously, now that you can't say that, I completely agree, because that was like it was
Derogative.
Yeah, derogatory term. Yeah, that I butchered that word so much. Yeah, towards like gay people, right?
Yeah.
So that one I completely agree. But there are other words like back in school you used to be able to say half caste. You can't do that anymore. You have to.
That's so hilarious. Yeah,
you have to say mixed race. You know what I mean? And it's just that everyone is just so like sensitive, and I think also technology plays a part in like making these kids like super sensitive, because now everyone has an opinion, and if you do anything, you go viral and you can just get cancelled just like that.
So you don't have your own voice anymore.
Yeah, so it's like now
Keyboard warriors.
Yeah. Now that's why you got so many keyboard warriors. Like you go in any app, like just a bunch of burner accounts spewing like how they truly feel, because they even some of the points which are right. Obviously, some of them are just saying hate. Like obviously, we don't want that. But some of them are actually saying good points, but they can't come out and say those points because everyone else is just so sensitive that you have to kind of treat like even arguments with like kiddie gloves and it's just it's super sensitive.
No, I agree. Absolutely sensitive. It's like, I'm not sure how they're going to be like if a war actually happens in general. It's like, even lockdown COVID times, the amount of people have cried because they couldn't do anything. Or actually, to be fair, I think COVID probably didn't even help. Like off school and everything online. Again, technology and stuff like that. And to be honest, the upbringing as well, with parents not teaching anything, more like, well, I'm sure we agree, we both kind of grew up in a quite difficult household. When we did something wrong, we'll get the belt. Whereas now, if something happens, kids will sue the parents.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just, can't say anything. Or even, I don't know if I can say the word or not.
You can say it. Go on.
Like the word twat. It's like I don't want to say it with the girls, but they get absolutely sensitive. If someone says it to me, I will laugh in their face. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll say something back. Like same thing when you said faggot, obviously. Back in school, everyone will be calling each other that word.
Yeah.
No one will get suspended or anything. But it's like jokes and banters and things like that. We need to be very careful. Even in public, speaking to friends, we'll be like, say that quietly before someone comes around and tells us off, obviously. It's like there's someone like walking by and be like, hey, you can't say that. I'm like, okay then, since when? So, yeah, I'd rather not interact with the young generation before someone just runs off crying because I said you're a twat.
Wait, it goes even crazier than that. This is how soft this new generation is, yeah. Like obviously now the big thing is about the what you identify as, right?
Oh God.
Do you know like companies now, like you can actually get in trouble by identifying someone by their wrong pronouns? Like, come on, seriously, like
Yeah.
Like, and you know, I think that's just way too sensitive. Like, okay, let's say if I call you, I just assume I'm like, hi, well, Steph, like she, and then you're like, no, that's not my pronoun. I'm like, okay, like if you tell me, then that's how you want to be acknowledged. Let's say they, then that's fine because you've now told me. But now it's so imposed on you because everyone is so sensitive. You're even scared to even like say anything. Which is not good. At least educate people, which is I'm guessing what they're trying to do, but they're kind of like forcing it and try to completely change and make you not even want to say anything.
It's all about them now.
Yeah, it's just this new generations, they're raised by TikTok.
It's baffled.
Raised by TikTok. Pretty much are, aren't they?
Yeah.
Raised through social media, raised through like television. Like you see TV programs doing it now, where they have to use different like transgender people and stuff like that. But it's funny, I've seen it. You see it in like on a lot of online stores. Funny enough, how when you go out to pick an outfit or something like that, or you know your top or bottoms or something like that. I guess more so t-shirts and stuff like that. When you click on the gender, it will just be male and female still. But you don't really see all these companies getting like hung up about it or like getting done for or sued.
It's very selective.
It just seems to be like more society. It's not really like a look like, I don't know how you explain it, but society, I guess, has just made it that way, made it such a sensitive place for these younger generation. Whereas it hasn't needed to go that way. it just seems that everyone's just sort of letting the younger generation just act like this and be this way,
like
and just not stopping it. Like parents, especially as well, in this sort of day and age, where kids will say they want to be so and so, they want to do so and so, and the parents are like, okay, crack on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
literally, they're
Let's
getting
just do
what
it.
they want. That's it.
Yeah,
Like
and-
nothing. Like why?
And also like now if like parents like jump out the window and say like, oh, you're not doing this because maybe you're too young to make that kind of a decision, then they get in trouble. And then let's say child services and things like that get involved. I think another reason why the new generation is so soft, and you guys can back me up because we're about the same age,
Yeah.
but I think the new generation, they don't play outside.
Yeah.
No,
They don't play
constantly
outside,
on
like-
Xbox or something like that.
Like, because like growing up, like we used to play outside like constantly,
time.
and then the
Have
amount of
chalks outside, drawing on the roads.
yeah,
And even now, when you do it, you get done for. You get enforcement coming
like-
over, like because part of the council.
honestly, and the amount of scars I've got from like climbing trees, falling, like you playing football barefooted, and then you hit a curb. It's like all those things. I think they also what kind of toughens you up as you grow up.
That's the thing. These young generation, they don't know how tough it is or how what we've gone through. They don't even know how to toughen up.
Yeah.
They speak up. That's about it, and they get what they want.
I know, and that's like our generation. We kind of grew up with like TVs and computers. Imagine the generation before even us. And
Yeah.
let's say if you go to ones where you just get drafted in war, like, and all the men just like go to war,
That's
and
the
then
thing, and the women just
World
there.
War. Those were like tough guys.
Yeah.
But now,
Oh, actually, Sam, I think you'd appreciate this. There's a quote by Joe Rogan. I can't remember exactly. It said tough times. Hold on, I'll try to find what Steph making a point. Hold on. But I just thought it kind of defines how like society.
I was gonna say with discipline as well, you don't really see a lot of younger people with discipline these days. I guess fair enough when you're little, but still, even when you're teenagers, even when you're a teenager, you don't really see much discipline. They're happy to just give up on something so easily, because in today's society, it just seems suitable and acceptable that you can. Like even with like competition, we're talking about with ego and stuff like that. Even if you finish last now, you still get a medal or reward, participation reward or something like that.
participation.
So they're just sort of promoting it that it's okay, you can come last. There's no point in competing. There's no point in challenging yourself. There's no point in no point in having that discipline to work on yourself every single day to get better. It doesn't matter if you come last, you're still going to get a reward out of it. And that's just seems to be okay now. It seems to be accepted. And the parents don't seem to mind either because the
It's like, where's
kid's
the
happy.
self-development in that? It's like, I remember, like, competitions-wise, my mom would not like it if I just came back with a participation one. I have to be either first or second, and that's it.
Oh yeah. The participation trophies.
Well, nah, she would not appreciate it. She's like, nah, you did not work at all. Like, what did you do? Just walk? I'm like, no. But nowadays, kids will come back like, yeah, I've got this. I'm like, okay, cool. Do you want to see all mine? No? Okay.
By the way, I found the quote.
So,
But obviously, I'm gonna change it because it says hard times create strong men. But I'm gonna change it to people, in it because I don't want you to get cancelled. Like, why it's gotta be men?
Now I'll be saying, what about women?
Yeah, exactly. So it's like hard times create. I'm gonna still say men. Hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. So if you look at it like during like when, obviously the great parents, when they went to war, that was like the hard times, and then they created the easy times because once the war is finished and then we get technology, and then that creates the weakness, and then I don't know if we're gonna create hard times again. But
Yeah, I think with technology now coming up, there's
yeah,
gonna be
I
another
think
hard
it's
time
gonna be
coming, so-
it's gonna be permanently weak and sensitive. But yeah, no. To answer your question, I agree. Steph, do you
Yeah,
agree?
I definitely
With it?
agree.
Too sensitive.
Way too sensitive.
Yeah.
Put like times 10 on the side. Come at me all I can.
right, we'll go on to the next one. This would be an interesting one as well. I'm intrigued to hear your views on it. I've heard yours a little bit, Steph, so I'm intrigued to hear yours. Does the law of attraction exist? And that can be linked to, I guess, manifestation is what some people will link that to and relate that to. And there's a good quote I really like as well about this. It kind of links to it, but it's from Alex Hormozy. It's, you don't become confident by shouting affirmations in the mirror, but by having a stack of undeniable proof that you are who you say you are. Outwork your self-doubt. And for me, it's if you just go in the morning, it's going to your mirror and just say, I'm confident, I'm powerful. I'm confident, I'm powerful, I'm healthy, I'm strong. And then you just crack on with your day like nothing else. Like just crack on your day of normal. You feel depressed at your job, you hate it. you just live in every single part of the rest of your day the same, then that affirmations in the mirror in the morning are just pointless. They're just meaningless because you're not changing anything within yourself. And like, if you want to change anything, you have to first change your mindset. And I guess with the law of attraction, we can link this to quantum physics because it talks about how like attracts like, and everything in the universe is made up of atoms, energy. And so if it's a high vibrational energy or high vibrational frequencies, that will attract high vibrational frequencies. So if you're feeling good, confident in yourself, you use what you said in that morning and you're carrying it on throughout your day, you're being confident within yourself, you're doing things that are showing that you are who you say you are, then you're going to attract that in your life. But if you just crack on the rest of your day feeling sad, anger, shame or guilt, then you're just going to stay in that low vibrational frequency because that's what you're going to attract in your life. Whereas if you start to feel appreciation, gratitude, love, then you're going to high vibrational frequencies, then that's what you're going to attract in your life. So it's not good enough just to say something in the mirror or just write something down and then just crack on with your day and live your life as every other day. You need to actually put in the work and take action to show that you are who you say you are or who you want to be. So I do believe it exists, the law of attraction, but not just by shouting something in the mirror or just writing something down or just saying a few things in the morning and then just cracking on with your day or a few things at night, because you actually need to show yourself that you are who you say you are and outwork your self-doubt. If you're just going to live your life, with the same job and you say, I want to be successful, but you're not doing anything to change that and you're just doing the same work every day, then you're going to stay in that job because you're not doing anything about it. So I'll go to Steph with this one first. And so what do you think about that?
I definitely agree. What you give out comes back. If you're negative and you just put out negative, then all negative things happen back to you. If you think positive and you do the work for it, you get what you need rather than what you want. Definitely doesn't work by me just saying in the mirror, you're good, and then me coming out and not even doing anything about it. I think one of the things also with like law of attractions and like manifestations and things like that is like you need to have a habit. Like do it every single day, be positive, and then it comes out in a habit of it. Like it's been known like it takes like 66 days. So there's no time to it, but it depends on your mind, your body and your actions that it comes back to you.
Okay.
What are your thoughts, Arnold?
Have you guys ever watched The Secret?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one big part of it.
That's what kind of prompted me to say this, ask that as well.
That was like my first introduction to the whole law of attraction and manifestations and stuff like that. But to answer your question, no, I don't think it exists. I don't think it exists. No. Because I think you explained it perfectly. Because initially, what I understood about it was just you just have to, your head is in the clouds. You want money, just constantly think about attracting money. Like you're not gonna walk around and start finding money everywhere. I think the reason why I don't think it exists because I feel like it's like a placebo. Mm-hmm. Like, let's say if you wanted money, right? And then you start making actions to get you money. Of course, you're gonna get the goal. It's almost as if like it's not necessarily the law of attraction that's in play per se. Your brain is just, your subconsciousness is just making decisions that are leading you towards a certain thing.
But what are you doing at the same time? What's your mind doing at the same time you're working towards it?
Okay, so
some people will say pray. Some people will say manifestating. Some people will say nothing and just go with the flow while working hard with it. But your mind's still doing something. You're giving out the energy. What do you call that?
I don't think it's necessarily the energy. If you're constantly thinking about something, right? And if it's something you really want, you're gonna make decisions that are gonna prove to you that the law of attraction works. But that's only because everything else that you've done it's almost as if like you're kind of like just proving yourself right, but then you're gonna attribute it to say, oh, there's the law of attraction. Let's say you wanted to start a podcast, right? You've been thinking about it, but then you decide, oh, let me hit up MK Studios. I want to start my podcast. Or like, oh, I remember this guy from back in, I don't know, college. Let me message him, see if, or you go on his Instagram and then you DM him and then you guys exchange contact. You can't say that's a law of attraction in place. That's
Shit
just
on work.
That's just you being so obsessed and thinking about an idea, and then your brain. Obviously, if you were to use the law of attraction to explain those steps, that's why I don't think it's real.
But that had to happen. Don't you think that's law of attraction? You thinking about it, you doing the work of it, you doing the positivity into it as well. The whole concept.
No, I think it's the same thing as like, I'll give you an example. Let's say you buy a new car, yeah? Have you noticed that the moment you have that car, you start seeing that car everywhere? Is that law of attraction? Or is it just that your brain, your subconscious is now honed in on this thing and now you're seeing it everywhere? So if you're so honed in on an idea, of course, things are going to start happening that will lead you towards whatever it is. So if let's say, it's not really attracting bad people, but let's say if you hang out with bad people, obviously bad things are going to happen. That's not really law of attraction. You made a decision to put yourself in a situation and your subconscious and just how everything works will lead you towards a certain thing. But I don't think it's necessarily like a law of attraction where...
I mean, if you think negative, of course you're going to be in a negative environment as well. If you take one by one out, the whole concept is called law of attraction.
Okay, so define the law of attraction.
I don't know. No, instead of law of attraction, what I believe in is manifestation. So it's the same thing, some people will say praying, but it's a fate. But it's the same thing, like if let's say I work towards something and I think very positive about it and I work really, really hard with it and I'm like, do you know what, I'm not going to think of anything negative. If something bad happens, I'm going to keep telling myself while working over it as well. And then if let's say I get it, I'll be happy about it, but I don't think maybe it's me being me would give manifesting the credit. I'll just give myself the credit, but I still believe in it that the energy I'm giving out is the same energy that's given back. It's like how you said atoms and energy and everything. It's all linked. Somehow we're getting still all of it. Same thing. If you're in a bad environment of bad people with bad people, you're not going to have a positive mindset. All you want to do, you just feel unmotivated. The whole energy is on you. But once you realize that, if let's say one good person's coming through and is giving you the energy and be like, hey, come, let's do this and that. And you feel like, okay, cool. You feel good. I'm sure, you have some friends where you feel like, let's do this. If let's say we go out, okay, yeah. You're like, come on, let's go. And you'll be like, okay, cool. And you have a great day. And the next day you're like, okay, cool. I'm like one different person. But if the same person wants to be like them, and they feel good about themselves as well because that person's giving the energy and their energy is obviously attracted to them, it's like you get yourself out of it. I don't know where my point has gone.
Okay, so let's say...
You know what? You get what I mean, you know?
Okay, let's say you want to manifest... I want to manifest like, a massive house for myself, right? So obviously I start doing the necessary steps, saving up, doing... inquiring about mortgages, do everything. And then you achieve that. And then let's say the house burns down. But everything I've been manifesting was to get the house.
Where's your insurance?
Yeah. Where's your insurance? Okay, did you manifest for bad things? Okay.
Those kind of things though, if that happens, it happened for a reason. I'm not going to say, oh my God, yeah, it happened for a reason. But the thing's obviously, yeah, that's bad that your house burned down. What's the reason behind it?
Okay, so
what did you lack on?
Okay, so if you manifestations works on both ends of the aisle. So let's say if you hang out with a bad crowd, are you manifesting bad things to happen to you?
You're not manifesting anything.
Okay, what about when bad things happen to good people? Are they manifesting that even though they're thinking positive? So
those things happen for a reason.
What's the reason?
What's the reason? It's because, there's a balance. Good thing only happen when bad things happening as well. Bad thing happens when, you have a bit of good things going on.
I'll say with that point, if bad things happen to good people, I think you need the bad as well, because otherwise how would you know what's good? You need that balance in a way. I guess the universe in itself is sort of creating that balance for you. You need them tests, you need them hurdles. Like life's going to throw hurdles at you. It's up to you if you want to jump over them or just let them hit you and fall down. So I think you need them bad moments and bad times in your life for you then to decide what kind of person you really are. Are you going to step up and take action for them? Or are you just going to let them hit you and knock you down? So I think with good people, they're the ones that are going to jump over them hurdles and say, okay, I'm taking action for this. What can I do about this? But again, if you're going to let them hit you and you're going to continue to let them hit you, then I think that's when you're going to start attracting bad things. Because if you're just sort of letting them happen, I guess it's like what we talked before, amor fati, love of fate, using what's happened for you, using what's happened against you for yourself, putting fuel on the fire and fueling it and making it, okay, what kind of person am I going to be? I'm going to use this for my own advantage. I'm going to learn from this situation. I can grow from this situation.
Yeah.
I guess that's why successful people fail so many times. They're not manifesting it, but they need them failures in order to become successful, to learn from them, to grow from them, to become a better person from them. But I'll let you go back to answering that.
Okay.
Like, I don't disagree, but I'm not going to change your mind. I was the same thing a couple of years ago. I'm like, whatever I do, it's just what I'm doing. Mom will be like, yeah, it's because I prayed. And I'm like, okay, then I did the work for it. So of course something's going to come out of it. Of course I'm going to get an A star if I study every single day. It's not because I prayed or manifested about it.
I manifested the A. Okay, so is manifesting really a thing then? Because if you completely studied and you put in the blood, sweat and tears to get the A and you achieved it.
I think it's definitely part of it. Because where's the motivation coming from for you to wanting to get the A?
And that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm saying. It's a placebo because you use the manifestation. It's almost as like prayer, and I think that's why prayer is so powerful because prayer is almost as if like you put in faith in something that you may not have yet or believe in. Well, not believe in because people that pray clearly believe that God is gonna deliver. So you put in your power into manifestation. It's almost as if
God will deliver. I'm going to disagree with that, but okay.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying like with manifestation, you're putting your faith into the fact that like, I'm going to manifest this, but really that you're just using that as like a thing to kind of guide you, but then ultimately everything you're doing is going to lead you towards confirming whatever.
Of course, I agree with that.
So,
but even
so it's not really manifesting anything, really.
It is the energy you use in it. I don't know. I think a placebo. To saying that it's a placebo effect is already negative, so stay there. But no, you get what I mean. Like if you're gonna think like that, it's like then it's different perspectives as well. So I like it and I like to believe in the manifestation, even though I'm not going to give it the credits by anything because I put my work in it, but I'm going to give the credit for it because my motivations or some sort of sense of inspiration and stuff is coming somewhere. Yes, it's coming within me, but also because I'm thinking positive as well. So if whatever positive things I'm giving out and to myself as well, I'm going to call that manifestation. I'm not going to say it's because I prayed. And also, God's not delivering it. I'm delivering it to myself. He's just helping as for people who believe in them is just to give them the confidence.
Yeah, but praying is the same thing as manifestation. They're the same concept.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, we've agreed on that. So I'm going to cut you off there now. Because we've gotten to that point. Because we're close to time. So I'm going to do one more. I'll let you pick. We can do another law, 48 laws of power, or I can give you another question. So what are you feeling? I feel like we go quite deep on these questions, but I feel like you both like the 48 laws of power. So I'll let you pick which one you want to go for.
What do you think?
Wait, do we get to find out what law it is? or
it's one you both picked.
One we both picked.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
probably one of your favourites.
Yeah. No, they're all my favorite. I'm probably gonna say this is my favorite too. Steph, what do you think? Like, do you want?
I think
because the thing is, I like these other topics but then they're very hard to and they take time.
I can say what they are to make it easier.
Sure.
So it can be law 25, recreate yourself.
Okay.
Or I can ask you the question: can memories be erased, or should they be?
I like the memories.
I like the laws.
Let's do the memories.
Memories. Wait, so repeat the question. Can memories be erased?
Or should they be?
Okay, we'll do that. We'll do that.
So I'll start off. I've only thought about this a bit, but I don't think they should be erased because without our memories, I guess obviously certain people, they lose their memories, and I get that as well. There's nothing they can do about them. But for us, I'm talking about for us, like everyday people that have gone through shit, and just they've gone through bad times and they're upset about them, and they're saying, I wish I could just forget about this. But for me, every single thing that has happened to myself has led me to where I am now and the person who I am. And I don't define myself by my past, but what I've learned from my past, and that's made me who I am. So so all the memories that have happened to me, even the bad ones, the really bad ones, they're probably the best things that could have happened to me, because they're the ones where I've grown the most, where I've been able to look at myself and say, okay, how am I going to change? How am I going to overcome this? What am I going to do? What actions am I going to take? Is this in my control? Is this out of my control? What can I do about this? And if you just so I guess the question is more about, because people, it's going to be more about getting rid of their bad memories, erasing them. But without them bad memories, you wouldn't know where you need them to grow from. You need them to learn from, because they're the hard times. And like you say, hard times are what make a man strong and what make a good man. Yeah. Because that's where that's where you find who you really are in them moments. And I'm grateful for them moments to happen to me, because I wouldn't be who I am now without going through them rough times, having to make them hard decisions, having to make them hard choices, and figuring out what kind of person I want to be. So even though they may be bad, I've used them and I've turned them into a positive, because I'm grateful for them to happen to me. Because I've learned from them and I've become a better man for them, I think, personally. Like, there's so many times where I could have gone, I wish this didn't happen to me. I really wish this didn't happen to me. But the fact that I've able to overcome that situation and become stronger from it has made me a better person. So I'm happy that it happened to me in a way. It's a positive. It's like turning a negative into a positive. And like people say, without the rain, I guess a lot of people think the rain's quite sad and quite depressed about it. But without the rain, the flowers and the plants wouldn't grow in just the sun. They'd die. Yeah. So you need that bad with the good. You need that balance in a way. Because otherwise, if everything's just good, everything's just happy, you wouldn't really know what happy is, because you wouldn't know the bad from the good. So you need them bad times to then be able to distinguish what the good times are. But again, it comes back to, I think the bad times are what make a real person, define who you really are and what you're going to do in them situations. Because it's easy just to do anything in a happy moment. Easy just to go along with easy just to say, okay, I'm happy, this is all going well, this is great, nothing I really need to worry about. But when you're in them sad times or them shit times, that's when you're going to say, okay, what am I going to do here? What am I going to take? What actions am I going to take? Am I just going to run away from this? Or am I going to use this, learn from it, and become stronger for it? So I know Steph was really eager about this one compared to you. So I'll play this off to you. Should memories be erased? Should you, I guess it's more a personal question. Would you erase your own memories, and why?
Yes. Not erased, but like deleting files, more like altered. It's got a bit of pro and con into it. I think obviously there's a lot of things people should definitely go through, but I think main thing is like trauma. I know quite a few people who have altered their own memories, using CBT and medications, meditation, therapies as well. It's just so they can, in that moment, you don't think about, I need to go through this. In certain people's what's happened to them, in that moment they feel like they're weak, they're absolutely vulnerable, and all they want to do in that moment when their mind is that they just want to block it out. So especially with the girls, it's been happening, like they just block out absolutely the memory. They don't want to deal with it, because in that moment, or even if they want to deal with it, it's not really the great outcome at all. It's not even a positive outcome. So if they haven't even blocked that memory out, they wouldn't even be here right now. So now afterwards, once they felt strong and stuff, like even for myself, when I've altered one of the memories, now I'm having to deal with it. And yes, it's not really, in one or the other way, it will bite you sort of, but you're stronger than before to be able to deal with it right now. So it kind of depends how you set your mind up that you're altering it to be able to go through and go by your days until you healed properly. Not properly, but like, so you can go back to it and open the wounds again to be able to handle it and deal with it the right way. But then also be able to get the real memories back. But one of the bad things is, and I definitely agree, you have to go through the bad things. However, no one can really tell in that moment how bad it is to be able to block it and alter it. Erasing is impossible, absolutely impossible. There are certain ways like using medication to dampen the emotions, but however, that is when PTSD and all these kind of different illnesses are coming in.
Wait, sorry to cut you off. But because I think the way I took the question, what if you were able to erase the memory? Let's just say, yeah.
Sorry, it's just hypothetical, by the way.
Yeah, let's just imagine Elon Musk came with the magical or chip that you can put into your brain, or maybe not a chip, but you can, like you said, deleting a file. You can just delete, the memory is gone completely. Do you think that's good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Personally, yes, definitely.
Then what would you say the things you've learned from that would also been deleted as well?
Definitely. Each individually, it depends how they've gone through. I definitely would.
Then would you make the same situation happen again because you wouldn't be more aware of it?
That depends. As in, like, if that happens, I don't know. But I definitely would have deleted everything I felt through it. So, yeah.
So it kind of reminded me of the Lion King with the quote, the past can hurt. You can either run from it or learn from it. And then the bit I like to add on is how far are you willing to run?
If it's deleted, you're not running from anything. So
no, but it's hypothetical. And in this situation,
as I said, like, it really depends what it is. But I think in a society where a lot of stuff happens, me personally, with the question, even there's nothing to learn from it. So unless, let's say, obviously, if I've done a mistake or something like that, I wouldn't delete it. But I think anything, definitely, if you had the choice, me personally, I would take it. Even if it means me losing the self-growth or any sort of, I will find my self-growth in other ways. There's always other ways or mistakes, something happens. But it definitely shouldn't be used as a escape.
Okay.
Go on, Arnold. Let's hear your views.
I don't know. I'm sort of like in the middle. I don't know if that's even possible.
No, you can explain.
I agree with you, Sam, that like, I don't think it's good to, let's say if you're able to just completely wipe and delete a memory, right? Obviously, I'll start with the extreme. There are extreme situations where, like, let's say if you're abused as a child, like, you know, like, stuff like that. I think if you're able to get rid of that memory, in some circumstances, I think that could be a positive because things like that ruin people's lives. Like, they might not have the mental fortitude to think, oh, what can I learn from that? There's nothing to learn from that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it has happened to people who have then gone on to do amazing things and then became advocates for change in other things. So ultimately, I don't think it's good to get rid of it because to completely get rid of it. Because I think an extreme case of like when you delete like memories is like dementia. That's like the extreme.
Yeah.
Where because I think like the reason why it wouldn't work, because if you think of just like, can memories be erased? Yeah. If you, let's say something happened to you, if you were to erase that particular memory, you'd have to erase so many things that are tied to that memory. So let's say if something happened when you were a child or whatever, by erasing that, you'd also have to erase part of, let's say, the good things that happened. You know what I mean? And I think you do it, like also the idea of like end up repeating, that's also a possibility because you never like you know, you never learn from, you never see patterns. You also removes you from being able to help other people and make some sort of changes. The only other extreme that I can think of where I think it might be a good idea to delete the memory, but even then, I think if you do, like for example, soldiers that are suffering like, you know, severe PTSD where like they come back from war and then they can't sleep every day, waking up like thinking they're still stuck in war. I mean, if you were to delete that memory of what they've seen, but then again, you'd have to take away everything they experienced leading up to it. You'd have to
all the friends you made,
the friends they made, the laughs they had. So bad memories, I don't think they happen in a vacuum. I think they're tied to so many things before they're just a bad memory. So by completely deleting them, you'd have to delete everything else. And I don't think that would be a good idea. I think you just have to accept them. And obviously do the best you can to overcome them. This is just bad memories. Also good memories, no one wants to delete those. So that's out of the question. I think that's why I obviously focus on bad memories. But I agree with Sam on this one.
Is there any other points you want to make?
No.
Now we can go back to any other questions on there. Is there anything else you want to add? Anything else?
Steph, manifest the questions.
Manifest the question, you know. Someone would come up and then I would say, see, manifestation.
But I think with going back to that, if we are going to go back, just you mentioning it. So I liked when you mentioned the podcast. I think I manifested for so long that I'm going to have a podcast. I'm going to have a podcast. I'm going to have a successful podcast. I kept doing that. But it wasn't until I was doing all the prep work, getting all my notes, getting all the information, just working on myself, getting everything up, working on all the sort of stuff I'm talking about now. But it wasn't until I actually made the actions and put in and said, okay, I'm actually being serious about this now. I could have bought all the equipment, but until I actually do the work and put in that work, it was never going to happen. But I think as well, because of the mindset I had, I was manifesting it to happen in myself. That self-belief, I guess, in a way, outworking any self-doubt I had about myself. And I guess it's a thin line between self-belief and manifestation, you could say. But I always believed and knew that I was going to have a podcast, and it wasn't until I took that action for it to actually come to life, to manifest now. Okay,
so you said before, obviously the podcast became a reality, you spend so much time manifesting, right?
I was doing work, but just not work towards getting this set up. I kept believing it, but I didn't actually go, okay, I need to actually get a studio, I need to get this all sorted.
Yeah, obviously things start moving when you start physically doing stuff, but obviously you said for a long period you're manifesting it. Okay, take you out of the equation, someone in your chair will be like, I always prayed that I wanted to have a studio or to have a podcast. So I prayed and prayed and prayed. And then eventually when I started making the moves, and then it finally happened. So is prayer and manifestation the same thing? That's
what I think.
Words. Just different
the same
words.
Concept.
So it's the same concept. So
same
basically,
concept, but different.
You're basically trying to convince yourself. And
one manifestation is the universe and one the praise of the gods. Even though that's still the same as universe, in my opinion, but it's okay.
Okay.
I think if I just didn't have that belief, it's like I didn't imagine someone's going to come up to me and say, you should have a podcast or anything like that. I need to just actually, okay, I want a podcast. I'm going to make this happen now. There's no more time just doing the work. It's great getting all the prep work done, doing all that. But until I actually do the work, it was never going to happen for me. And I wasn't ever going to get here until I actually said, okay, I need to take this step forward now. I need to actually put in and take some action.
Yeah, I think it's like, what it is like cause and effect.
Try manifesting, and then let me know how it goes.
Manifest £1 million and then see how you go on.
Nah,
and do the work to it as
well.
There
is no manifestation.
Save money.
There's cause and effect. Cause and effect. Your cause was I want to start a podcast, so you started doing things, and then the effect was here we are.
If I gave up and if I just kept doing the work or just gave up, then it would never have happened. But I had to have that self-belief as well.
Of course,
that confidence that I was going to come to fruition.
So it depends on the mind, it depends on the body, and then the actions. The three things were manifested.
I might have to look more into it. I don't know, because I told you, like, first time I was introduced to the whole concept was The Secret. Yeah, but
look like, on Reddit and stuff, if you actually put The Secret and then Law of Attraction, it literally so many people talk about it, and then you see the movie in different ways.
Yeah.
Well, we'll end on that then. Thank you both. I appreciate your time. There's a lot of good points there.
That was fun. It was fun. I enjoyed that.
Fun, yeah.
All right.
Round two.
Yeah.
I'm ready whenever you are. No, it was good. It was good. I actually learned a lot.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad it was a positive experience for you both.
Yeah. Definitely.
Well, I hope it was.
Appreciate you for having me on. I'm a regular guest now.
Yeah, you pretty much are.
Same time next week.
Same next week.
Make sure you get it up.
No, it's fun. All
right. Let's do it.
Peace out.